recording first of all. Oh,
You're doing it, yeah.
yeah, it should be on now, I think.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is recording.
Yep, there we go. Brilliant. Right, let me bring the presentation up so you can see my screen. Won't be a second.
Right, got it, yeah.
Got it? Can you see it? Brilliant. Right, so this introduction session is basically going to take you through everything you need to know about the actual fitness instructor course, a little bit about the on-screen learning platform, a little bit about us at TVS Education, and just to give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have about the program. So first of all, TVS Education. So we're the ones that are delivering the program to you, which I'll go through who's involved in a second. But a little bit about us as TVS Education. So we're a national training and education specialist, and we work with further education providers and employers such as Everyone Active, and also learners such as yourself that are on the courses, mainly in the sport, physical activity, and the leadership and management space. Primarily focusing on sport, but obviously this one transfers into the sort of leisure industry and the fitness background. It was created to promote education through sport and give a vehicle for employers to develop staff to become coaches, practitioners, and leaders within sport. TVS Education then continued to grow organically, and it became the provider of choice within the sporting sector. And as I say, now we're branching out into doing more fitness-related stuff. And our details are at the bottom there. So if you want to drop an email to any of us, the main information email address is there at the bottom, and I'll send this slideshow out to you after the call.
Okay.
So a little bit about who we are. So I'm Mark Davenport, so I'm one of the tutors on this program. I'm sort of overseeing the program and making sure that all of you guys have got the correct login details, you're accessing the content. If you've got any sort of questions on anything fitness specific, then I'm the man to come to. That's sort of my area of expertise. I've delivered in the fitness industry. Well, I've worked in the fitness industry for the last 15 years, but more as a tutor in the last 5 years. So I've delivered fitness instructor, personal trainer, a team leader, and management as well. But yeah, my main area of expertise is fitness. Nick Preston is the lead IQA for TVS Education, but he's sort of just overseeing this whole project, working with Everyone Active. And then we've got Mark Henry, who is another tutor and the IQA, so we'll be checking all of your work when you submit it.
Right.
And he's the platform developer as well. So the on-screen learning thing I mentioned just before we started, he's the one that's developed that platform, which we'll take a look at that today, just so you know how it looks. And then just because this is a government funded program, we just have to touch on safeguarding and prevent. So just to make sure that you know how to keep yourself safe in work and in life in general. And you also know how to raise any concerns about prevent, and you know a little bit about British values as well. So
Right.
our policy on safeguarding and prevent is on that link there. As I say, you'll get this, so you can have a look at that. But working at Everyone Active, you will have your own safeguarding policy as well,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you'll know your safeguarding officer. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, what is prevent? Prevent is preventing violent extremism, basically. So working in sort of leisure centres that you could come across sort of signs or early signs of extremism, and it's just about being aware of them and being able to raise any concerns of that to your safeguarding officer and potentially to the police if it needs escalating that quickly. But yeah, it's just being aware of it and reporting it in the correct way.
Right. Okay.
And again, as I mentioned, why do you need to know this? It's really because it's a government requirement now that all educational providers, such as ourselves, have the responsibility to raise that, especially for people that potentially work with like children and vulnerable adults as well.
Yeah.
And our safeguarding officer is Michaela Kelly, and her email address is on there. So should you need to contact our safeguarding department, that's absolutely fine as well.
Right.
And if you wanted to know a little bit more about Prevent or the government's initiative with it, it's just gov.uk. So you can have a look at it there.
Yeah.
Happy with all that?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I understand it.
Brilliant. And then just finally, British values. So British values are defined as democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, mutual respect, and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. And we just expect all learners to respect each other, as you'd expect, in particular regard to protected rights that are set out in the Equality Act 2010.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's safeguarding, prevent, and British values covered. So let's talk about fitness instructor now. So this course is fitness instructor level 2, or you may see gym instructor level 2, and terms are just interchangeable. The 6 units that you cover in this program are as follows. So you've got, as you can see on the screen, anatomy and physiology for exercise, so all about the human body and how it functions, how it works. We've got a health and safety unit. We've got a know how to support clients who take part in exercise. There's a principles of exercise. There's a planning gym-based exercise. So if you think of like writing programs for clients, and then there's actually delivering them sessions that you've wrote, which is instructing gym-based exercise. So they're the six areas that are covered. And obviously this course will be assessed. So the part of the assessment is there's 2 sides of it, or 3 if you count the 2 elements, 2 theory elements. So first of all, there's the on-screen learning platform that I told you about. That's where all your learning content is, the videos, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But they all just need to complete it to 100%. You then have 2 multiple choice exams, which is on the units anatomy and physiology and the principles of exercise. So they're the 2 multiple choice exams that you'll have. They will be done at a centre. I think there's been 5 centres selected. Top of my head, I'm not sure what they are, but more guidance will come out on that when we get a bit closer to that. And they'll be dotted around the country, so there'll be one near where you are. And they'll be sort of invigilated by somebody that works for Everyone Active, or I think it's somebody that works in the community for Everyone Active. But yeah, it'll be somebody who works for Everyone Active. Then there is a practical element of the course. Now, this is slightly different to the way I've delivered it in the past, because I've always been there as an assessor face to face and watched the person do the actual session and give feedback there and then. Because this is a distance learning course, because of the COVID restrictions and etc., we've decided to run this one obviously all distance learning. So you actually submit a video to a tutor, myself or Mark.
Unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a slightly different, and I think it's going to suit some people. Some people may prefer if somebody was there and then giving feedback, but it may suit other people that might get a bit nervous in assessments, because it's completely up to you just to record that video, record yourself doing it, so you won't have anyone watching you. So, and again, this is going to be towards the end of the course, so there'll be more guidance coming out on that, on like what we're looking for and basically what needs to be included in that session and etc. But it's going to be like a 45-minute video, so it's quite a lengthy one. But if you think the assessments are normally an hour and a half, so it's sort of half of what you'd normally do if an assessor was there. But yeah, more guidance will come out that towards the end, but that's how it looks. So you'll actually do 4 sessions, 4 practical sessions, but you only need to video record one and send that to us. The other 3 can just be watched by somebody that's a qualified fitness instructor, basically, whether it be a duty manager or just a friend that's fully qualified. They can just watch that session and sign that they've seen it. And then this is how I roughly set out how each week would look. Now, obviously, this has gone a little bit skew with, because people are starting at different times and things like that. So by this point, we're currently starting week 3 now. But just to put your mind at ease, the health and safety unit and the know how to support clients unit, which were to be covered in week 1 and 2. They're not a massive amount of work that needs to be done to complete them. So it depends how much time. Obviously, it depends from person to person how quickly you get through work, how quickly you pick things up. but I wouldn't worry too much about being far behind. There's people that started from week 1 that have not accessed the content yet, so I need to get onto them and get them working through it.
Right.
But once you get your login details, which I need to sort today if that hasn't come through, which we think it
Right.
hasn't, I'd just get on there straight away and just start having a look through it as soon as you get a chance, so you'll know sort of what to expect from the course then. But I give a rough guide of 7.5 hours over the full week. Again, some people won't need as much as that. Some people might want to spend a little bit more than that. It depends from person to person. But that's kind of how I set it out. So when you spoke before about a colleague of yours that had the deadlines and stuff like that, that was
Yeah.
based off this sort of setup.
Yeah, I can remember
This
him saying
screen
about
here.
that. 50, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so but again, I only use these as a rough guideline. If you sort of stuck to this guideline, then it was sort of peace of mind in my head that you'd 100% get through it with time to spare, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the only thing we ask, because it's a 6-week course, everything just has to be completed by the end of July. Now, obviously, we're coming up to the start of July now, so we're running out of time. However, there is time to get through this. There's 100% time to get through this, but we just need to make sure that we knuckle down and just crack on with the learning modules as soon as we can. Okay.
Right.
Let me take you through the on-screen learning section now, and you'll get a better understanding of how it looks then and how it'll look on your end once you log in.
Yeah.
So what you'll have when you log in, this will be your dashboard. You'll have the exact same thing that you can see here. So you'll click on the actual course, and then 6 units that I just covered, they're all laid out for you here in labeled 1 to 6.
Oh, that's easy.
Got the
Yeah.
health and safety. Yeah, you got them all dead easy. Now to support clients, anatomy and physiology, principles of exercise, planning gym, and instructing gym. If you remember, the anatomy and the principles of exercise, they're the 2 that will be assessed through the multiple choice exam.
Right.
So there won't be tests as such on that, or questions to answer. It's just mainly learning on that one. But
Right.
I'm getting ahead. I'll take you through that in a second. So let's have a look at health and safety just to show you a brief look of how they look. Now, you can see all the questions down here. So there's 23 questions in this unit. Now, just to show you one quickly. So if we click on question 1, you'll have a button here to try the question out. It probably won't say continue to last preview because you won't have attempted it yet. It might say attempt question, I think, if I remember rightly. And then this will load up. And then this top section here is where all your learning content is. And this bottom section here is the actual question that they want you to answer to answer that question, to tick it off. So in the learning content, there'll be either videos such as that. I think there's another video. There might be some reading text, some text to read. There might be some sort of checks, like knowledge checks that you can work through. But the only thing that needs answering is this bit here.
Right.
So this is the bit here that will give you the mark and will affect your percentage, if that makes sense, because we want to get you to 100% on this point of this part. Now, looking at this right-hand side here, this completion progress bar, this question, so question 1, relates to this green tick here. So I've already answered this, so that's why I've got a green tick. If you haven't answered a question, it'll show up as blue. So it just means you haven't attempted it. And then if it has a yellow box, that means that you've attempted the question, but it just needs to be checked by an assessor. So basically it's been sent over to us to check. And then if we're happy with that, it'll turn into a green tick.
Right.
Anything where you might need a little bit more detail, it'll turn into a red cross.
Right.
That makes sense? Is it any questions there? Was you gonna?
No, I'm all right with that. Yeah.
Fine with that? Yeah, pretty straightforward. And then it has your overall progression percentage there, which is 30%.
Right.
So I think just to give a little bit of an overview, this is my platform. I was just messing around when I first got it a couple of weeks ago, just to go through the content and stuff. I think I probably spent less than an hour. And I managed to get the 30% progress. Now, obviously, this is something that I've worked with for years, but just to show you how quickly you could potentially get through a large chunk of work. Let me go back to the health and safety unit again, right back to the start. Now, that question that I've shown you there was a multiple choice one, and that instantly gave you that green tick if you got it correct.
Right.
The ones that potentially will turn yellow initially are things like this question here, which asks you to explain, or this question here that asks you to describe. And you'll notice it says essay question. Now, essay question is quite misleading because it makes you sound like you need to write, well, an essay, a massive amount of text, which isn't true. You just need to answer in full sentences. That's the best way to help you. So rather than sort of bullet point or list, just put this into a full sentence, and just a couple of 2 or 3 lines would answer this question.
Right on.
But again, all the reading content is at the top here. Again, you might have to watch a video. Any information you need will be up here, and that'll give you the knowledge that you need to answer that question. Some of the questions, depending like what your role is in the leisure industry and how long you've worked in it, you might know straight off for past experience an answer to a question. So yeah, feel free to use any sort of prior knowledge that you have to answer the question as well.
Yeah.
You know, like real life situations that you might have occurred and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Let me go back to the start point again. So that is the health and safety unit. And again, let me look at know how to support clients. You've got less questions on that. You've got 20 on that one. So they're the first 2 units that I'd set. And then these next 2, 3 and 4 are the ones that are the multiple choice exams. So in this one, I'm just going to show you. So you're clicking on this top box here for anatomy. This is where all the learning content is now for anatomy. As I say, you won't need to answer any questions on this. There is questions to answer if you want. So under these purple, this purple circle here, I'll just show you. Do you see where I clicked then? So if you click this purple circle, it'll give you questions to answer. But these won't affect the progress on this right-hand side. These are just for your own learning, just to check that you've understood this video. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Brilliant. And then you just work through this then just to build your knowledge, make any notes that you might need. And then you'd move on to the next bit here. Or if you just click the next button here, it'll take you through. If that makes sense. So it'll take you through this, and then it'll move on to the next bit, and it'll work its way through all these. Once you've done all them, then you feel free to have a go at the mock exam.
All right.
Like this is just a practice, just to see how you've got on. I think there's 2 loaded on there at the minute. Yeah, we've got 2 mock quizzes. Yeah, feel free to have a go. I think there's 50 questions in each of them.
Right.
And it'll give you an indication of where you're currently at. Now, I'll talk about the revision sessions when we get back to the PowerPoint, because there's going to be extra work on this that I'll go through with you all. And that's exactly the same for the principles of exercise. So there's just learning content up here, no questions to answer if you don't want, just skill checks within there. And then you've got 2 mock exams for that one.
Right.
And then you've got unit 5 and 6, which are planning, gym-based exercise. Very similar to the first 2 units. There's questions to answer in here.
Yeah.
So if we look at one of these, preview quiz. So you'll have the reading content up here at the top when it loads. Here we go. So you'll have things here to read, to work through. And then you've just got the question here. So it'll ask you, what's the question? How to minimize any risk relevant to the program, state 5 methods. And you just put your 5 methods there.
Yeah. I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, dead easy. Okay. So they're the units. Now they all continue like that. Instructing gym-based exercise will be slightly different. So you've got 3 questions, and then the rest of that will be discussing the actual practical. There's going to be more guidance coming out on the instructing. I don't want you to worry about that unit yet. get too far ahead. Just ignore that one for now. So just start from 1 and work your way across. That is the best advice I can give you on that. That's the learning platform. Let me take you back to the presentation just for a minute. So as well as I say, it's all online learning. But you're not completely on your own, because I'm running drop-in sessions every Monday and Friday. Today's is at 12:30, but they're normally at 11 a.m. Monday and a Friday, and they're optional. You don't have to jump on them, but if you sort of say you jump on today or tomorrow on the on-screen learning and just loads of questions are going through your head, just drop on Fridays and you can just ask me any questions. It's just basically like a Q&A with me if you pick anything up. In the meantime, if you don't want to wait to jump in one of them, you can easily drop me an email and I'll answer any questions you have. Revision sessions. So from week 4, which is supposed to be next week, now I'll have to catch up with my manager and make sure nothing's changed with that. Obviously, because the people that are coming on late, I'll check that nothing's changed on that. But if it hasn't, it's actually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And there's going to be revision sessions, and it'll start with the revision sessions on anatomy. So just to sort of build your knowledge, but also sort of cement what you've learned on the on-screen learning platform, and take you through sort of some sort of structure and what typical questions might come up in the exam. Just help you to get through the actual exam when you do sit it. And there'll be another one in week 5, I believe, for the principles of exercise 1. So we'll cover anatomy first, then principles of exercise.
Right.
Throughout, there's going to be email support. So if you've got any questions, just drop me an email. If there's any questions specifically on the on-screen learning, then they go to Mark H. And if you I'm just going back to that page, if you just click the Get in Touch button there at the top, and then if there's if you find a question that's missing, or something's not loading for you, do you know anything sort of IT related?
Yeah.
Send it to him. Anything fitness related, send to me.
Right. Okay.
So if you're not understanding how a question's worded, that's best coming to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just a few expectations on the course now. So we just expect everyone to engage with the program, just complete all your online learning, stay on time. Obviously, things have changed slightly, but just get through it. If you can, just let me know if there's any issues. If you're finding any sort of time issues, just send them across to me and we'll have a chat about that. Where possible, if you are free and you've got some questions, jump into them drop-in sessions and the revision sessions. Obviously, understand people work shifts, so you can't always get into things like that. But if you can,
I work shifts all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see how everyone is. I think everyone's going to be sort of in the same boat, aren't they, with that, working in how leisure is. It's always sort of earlys or lates, isn't it, the majority of the time?
Yeah, I'm on tonight, but I mean, it's just that with everything going on, it's just, you're doing extra hours and whatever, and because there's not a lot of people working.
That's it.
It's just finding the time sometimes, you know what I mean, to do your normal life other than work,
That's it. Yeah, it's not normal anymore, is it? It's strange times we're in. But if possible and you have got any questions, jump in if you're free. If not, just drop me an email, because you can send any questions to me via email. Complete all the practical elements and submit your videos on time. Again, look out for more guidance on that that's coming up, so don't worry too much about your practical yet, but start to think about who you might use. That's a good idea, because you're obviously going to need somebody to be your client. You're going to take them through that gym session, so they have to be a body for you, and then you need someone to record it, because you need to be in the video. So have a think about that. It can be somebody, the person recording it can be anybody, doesn't matter. The person that's your body can't be anyone that's on the course as well, but it can be family, it can be friends. It doesn't have to be somebody that works for Everyone Active, if that makes sense. It can be anybody. Right. Yeah. 6 weeks to complete. So there was a deadline of the 31st of July. So that is a deadline it's quite strict. I mean, if you are on the funded program, do you know whether yours is funded?
I would have thought it would be. I'm not quite sure. He didn't say anything, the boss, like, so.
Yeah, if it's government funded, there's a deadline of the 31st of July. That's all. So that's why there's a bit of a rush to get everyone through. But these courses, I've run these courses in like a 5-day intensive way, so it can be done in 5 days. So obviously it's a little bit different with an assessor there, sort of supporting you throughout. So it's just up to people to take a bit of responsibility on their side to get the online learning done. But if you can spend time getting through that, then you'll finish it on time.
Right.
And then most of all, we just want you to have an enjoyable learning experience and get the most from it. Learn some new skills or build some new skills if it's sort of that area you want to go down in fitness instructing and PT, or even if it's just to be able to cover on the gym floor.
Well, that's all.
Is that what it's for yourself? Yeah.
Cover, yeah. I mean, I'm a senior lifeguard, so
Yeah.
So it's just what they want to do. Again, it's work. They want to like do like 2 weeks on pool and then maybe a week in gym, sort of thing. In a 3-week road, so that's what they want to do. We've always asked about it in the future in the past when we were council, proper council. But it never came about, it was just when money was scarce sort of thing, so they wouldn't put you on the courses, I think,
Yeah. Well, it's good that that you're all getting this opportunity now, and like I say, it gives more flexibility, obviously, for you guys in your jobs, and then also for managers to have more people to cover the gym floor, and so even if it is just to cover, we'll teach you to be a safe and effective fitness instructor, and that's our aims. Yeah,
I'm a bit on the tooth. I'm 57, like on the, but I know I have a good understanding of the anatomy and stuff like that,
Oh, good.
Because I'm a swimming teacher, so.
Of course, yeah, you cover bits on that, don't you?
Oh, you do, yeah, you do, yeah. So,
brilliant.
I understand. I understand stuff,
Yeah.
And plus, also, my son's at a university. He done sports science degree.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So
I can ask him.
Yeah, you've got him. Yeah. He can. He can do my job for me.
he's got anatomy books and all that sort of thing, So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yes. So that'll help.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So Neil, have you got any questions about anything on the course?
No, just to get on that online platform, really, on learning platform.
Yeah, we need your login sorting today. So what I would do, first of all, jump on your email after this session and just make sure it's not dropped in your spam folder.
Yeah, I'll check my.
Check that first, and then what I'll do. I'm just going to stop the recording there because I'm going to ask for your email address, and I don't want that to be recorded. But there's no questions about the course in particular.
Oh, I'm quite happy with it. I've been on courses a bit, not like this, but I know how courses run, so it's all right. Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, let me stop.